Welcome back to my channel, guys. This is Aping Cuts. Today we're gonna do a taper with the number 2 on the sides. This is kind of like a transformation video, but this is him before the cut. You can see it's been probably, I would say, like 3 weeks since he's got a cut. But first, what I want to do is show you guys the clippers I'm using. These are the Wall Seniors. They're the cordless. And now these are the Wall Detailers. They are also cordless. Pretty good trimmers. And these are the guards. This is the half guard, the number 1 guard, the 1.5 guard, and you can't really see it, but this is the number 2 guard. So these are the clippers and the guards we're going to be using this whole cut. So getting into the haircut, what you want to do first is make sure you're combing out the hair, making sure everything's laying down nice and flat. Now we're going to go with our number 2 guard. We're going to start off with the lever fully open just to see how much hair comes off. So as we're cutting, we're also combing the hair, making sure everything's laying down. So we're going to do that all around the head, on the sides. We will begin to create our back taper. I'm gonna use my 1.5 guard to remove some of the bulk in the back. So with this guard is gonna blend into the number 2 we used on the sides. Now we're gonna create our ball line with our trimmer, making sure not to place this ball line too high so that we have enough room to fade. And now you just remove the hair underneath to clean it all up. Using our clipper with the lever fully open, we're going to create our next guideline. So this guideline is going to be about 1 inch big, and just make sure you're keeping it very consistent throughout. Now we will close the lever all the way and begin to fade out that bottom line little by little. So what I like to keep in mind is the higher we go up, the more open the lever should be. So by the time you're on the top of that guideline, the lever should be fully open. So you guys can see I'm opening the lever little by little as I go up. And what I like to do once I'm kind of like at the top of that guideline, I like to flick out at the line just to soften it up some more. So using our number 1 guard, we're going to go up 1 inch from that bottom line. So this guard shouldn't create a guideline, it should just kind of blend into that 1.5. But this is just to kind of soften up that bottom line. Making sure you're combing the hair, going different angles if needed. We close the lever fully and begin to soften up that line even more. So on this side, he kind of had like the direction of the hair was growing at a different direction compared to the rest of the hair. So I went different angles to make sure it gets cut evenly. Now we get our 1/2 guard, lever fully open, and begin to soften up that bottom line we see. We close the lever fully and begin to fade out that bottom line. So also with this guard, you could go up higher. You just need to open the lever the higher you go. So it's very important to go different angles just to make sure you're fading everything the same. Especially this side, it took a little more work to fade it out. Using our shaver, we're gonna bald out the bottom portion of the fade. You can see we're not going up too high, too close to the fade so we don't create a bald line. I came back with my 1.5 guard just to kind of blend in a little bit of that top portion because it looked a little too bulky, so just took off some weight off it. You see I'm opening and closing the lever as needed. So we're gonna start on the lineup of the back taper. We're gonna apply a little pressure, nothing too crazy because that skin in that area is very sensitive, so you could nick somebody if you apply too much pressure. Moving on to the other side of the taper, we're gonna begin to line it up. So at this point, we are completely done with the back taper. All we have to do is just clean up the neck with the trimmer, and we move on to the side. So before we begin the lineup around the ear, what I want to do is get my 1.5 guard and remove some bulk. We begin to line it up around the ear. So I like to move the ear out the way so I'm able to get my trimmer in that area so it comes out nice and round. With the edge up, I started in the middle and made my way to either side. So with this taper, I actually gave it C cups as well, just so it can make the taper pop even more. Now we create our bald line with our trimmers. Using our clipper with the lever fully open, we're gonna create our next guideline. It's gonna be about 1 inch. So I like to put most of my guidelines in using the corners of my clipper. Now we close that lever fully and begin to erase that bottom line. So we're gonna go up little by little, trying to fade it up. See here, we're opening the lever slightly. So just keep in mind, as you're going up, you're opening that lever. And once you reach the top of that guideline, what I like to do is just flick out a little bit so it's easier for the other guards to fade it. We now get our 1.5 guard and begin to remove some more bulk, going up about 1 inch from that line we see. We now switch to our number 1 guard and do the same thing where we go up about 1 inch with the lever fully open and begin to remove some more bulk. So I didn't get it recorded, but I also closed the lever fully on that number 1 guard and begin to soften up that bottom line we see. So in a way, we are fading down on this taper. For me, it's the easiest way to do a taper, but everybody does it a different way that works for them. Now we get our half guard lever fully open and begin to soften up that line even more. Closing the lever fully, we begin to fade out that bottom line completely. So if it doesn't fade out completely, you could also come back with your clipper, no guard, lever fully closed, and begin to detail it using the corners, and it should fade it out. We balled it out underneath, making sure not to get too close to the fade of it so we don't create a harsh line. And now I come back with my trimmers and just clean up the line up some more, making sure to get that C-cup a little sharper. Keep in mind when you're lining up this area to have a very light hand, because this skin can be very sensitive. To finish off the taper, I came back with the 1.5 and just cleaned it up a little bit, opening and closing the lever, just so I have a smoother transition from the taper to the curls. Moving on to the top of the hair, we're gonna saturate the hair with water so it could get very manageable for us, because he does have very curly hair. The only thing, I didn't really get a good video of me doing the shear work, but I want to do like a separate video showing exactly how to cut hair on top and how to create a guideline so you could follow it throughout the whole head. But we took off about, I would say, 1 inch on top. Alright, so this is the before. This has been a couple weeks. He hasn't got a cut. I need to revive him. And this is the after. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below, how the cut came out. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you haven't already, make sure you subscribe to my channel. I got much more videos coming soon. Thanks for watching.